many lyrical.
Sheesh, sheesh, sheesh. Good Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Good Saturday. Good Saturday. Good Saturday. Good Saturday, y'all. Have everybody having a good day. Hope everybody's good. Hello, hello. Damn. All right. My fault. Good day, y'all. Well, we I mean it just doesn't stop, y'all. I got some more emails. It just doesn't stop. Apparently, uh there were some people who uh bought into the International Bill of Exchange, the International Bill of Exchange, and International Promissory Note, and they paid. This is the crazy part. These people paid. Uh, One person, they said they paid for the $1,500 packet. It was a mortgage. It was a mortgage set-off package, and with the $1,500, it was coming. You was going to get, I guess, it was a letter, instruction letter to the BOE, some form of injunction, which injunctions are filed in court. So I don't even know why you sending an injunction into a bank or lender. That's a court proceeding. Injunctions have no merit or no bearing on a commercial transaction unless it's a order signed off by the judge, and that's just to stop a specific action or compel a specific action. That's all that is. So that was a $1,500 packet. Someone, of course, they had the $200 ones with the instructions. But the main use of these bills of exchange, it still goes back to the original point, trying to pay debts or bills without the use of real money. Now, we're not going to play the semantics game. Oh, well, gold and silver is only real money. No, we're talking about the normal, everyday, common acceptance of the term money. Federal Reserve notes, credit card, debit card, checks, personal checks, or business checks written on a public bank account with money already in there. Okay. And it's so sad that I gotta break it down like that because for some reason, after you're hit by the Morse bug, all normal understanding of life and finances goes out the window. And it's always semantics, it's always nuances, optics with the simplest transactions. So a lot of people were issuing these international bills of exchange, and of course, nothing ever happened. The problem is these people, from what it was told to me, they were getting so much guaranteed that it'll work based on the teacher saying that it worked already, that they were sacrificing 1,500, whatever money that they really didn't have, that they really should have just threw on the bill. So when it didn't work, of course they were going to be upset. Who wouldn't be upset? I mean, they was heated. But then the teachers, it was always some type of, it wasn't their fault. One person, when they say, do your own research, no refund because it was a donation. And some just stopped communicating, blocked them and all that. So, but this is what people want to hear. See, I'm not blaming the teachers in that point, in that situation, because that's what people want to hear. They want to hear that you can accomplish the same things with what real money could do without having to spend your trying to cut corners, trying to continue to use the goods and services of this world, but don't want to pay for it when it comes time to just paying it. It's always some type of BS involved. But this is what happens when no real studying and understanding is taking place. That will end it all. A proper understanding. Everything what you think it is, if you just put that to the side for 1 second and get straight to the X's and O's, it's in that moment where a lot of people will realize that, oh, hell no, this is nowhere near a quick overnight thing. This is the long game. You're studying now for future events. That future event, you don't determine when that day will come. Like I said, it may take some people 3 years. It may take some people 5 years. Hey, it may take some people almost a decade before they get it down pat. But that is the reality that a lot of people, it doesn't sound good. No, I'm not gonna. Why would I do this if I gotta spend the next 3, 4, 5 years of studying before I get a remedy? What's the point? I'm doing this now because I want something now out of it. Okay, which is cool. Then either you're going to seriously vet a person that knows what they're talking about, that understands the system, because we tend to believe that since the teacher is the one teaching it, that they understand the system. Because the students allowed the teachers to do this. They would have never got that $1,500 out that person's account if that person didn't send it to them. It's like continuously trying to blame the teachers for being scammed. Now, we're holding them accountable on the other side, But let's talk to the students. Continuously to try to hold the teachers accountable for who they are. That's just like trying to tell a snake not to inject that venom in the mice soon as it enters its cage. Especially when the snake is hungry. The mice drops in it, it's going to sniff it, stick its tongue out there. Oh, this is food. Bam, it's going to bite it. And then the venom is going to take hold over the mice about 3-5 minutes, going to paralyze them, can't move, it's going to eat it. And just like saying lions don't go hunt a zebra or wildebeest when they're hungry. That's their nature. That's what they do. And that's the same thing of these teachers. These scammers, which are masquerading as teachers, their whole sole purpose is to tell you anything and everything you want to hear, make it sound so good, make it sound like the impossible is nothing, so that you want to give your money away. And this is why they call them donations. That's a false term. A donation is that person giving that individual $1,500 without no expectation of anything. Because as soon as the intent is established and expectations of consideration or some type of return of equal value on that money, then it ceases to be a donation, regardless if that's how it's titled. And this goes back to court rulings, court procedures, court filings, court. That's what you got to understand. Just because you call it a donation doesn't mean it's a donation, because you are expecting something in return for your money. The only reason why they call it a donation is so when you come back, when the shit don't work, when you come back, they're not liable to you, or their conscience is free, because you made a donation. Why do you think they call it donations anyway? Why do you think they do that? Because they know you're coming back when it don't work. They know you're coming back. I mean, these people ain't stupid now. They know you're coming back. They know you are coming back in about 30-60 days. Now, there's some teachers and some processes that they figured out to attempt to manipulate the system for the time being, so things will show up credit on the account, and then they move off that. But credit on an account means nothing if you are not benefiting from it. If you don't have rights to withdraw from that account or use that account as your leisure, then showing it credit means nothing. Y'all come on, man. Y'all know how it goes when checks need to clear, when you get conditional credit. You know it ain't final till it clears. And even when it clears, you need to give it a 90 to 100-day window, because reversals sometimes take a long time, because when if it gets rejected by the bank or the processing center, they're going to try to resubmit it or try to figure it out, because they want their money. And if you appear that you're giving them real money or value, they're going to try to push it through. That's why it takes long for it to get reversed. But if you look at it, it's like Tamika. Account after account was getting reversed. Account after account from her students, who's all that securities and that bill pay, liquidating your birth certificate, all that billing error, bill pay, and turn to keep coupon into all that. Reversal after reversal after reversal after reversal. And you would already know how that works if you understand standard banking standard processing, standard finance. Standard. So a lot of early victories, people telling me they got, I'm telling them, bro, that's just standard. It's going to show credit right now. That's just standard because they have to. It's just standard. But they're going to reverse it. Give it about 30, 60 days. They're going to reverse. And every time on the money, they always come back and say, you're right. It did get reversed. I already know. I know. So when we get to these international bills of exchange and international promissory notes, a lot of people don't use promissory notes as much as they use bills of exchange. Do you realize that bills of exchange are not even common anymore? They were common in the 1800s. A bill of exchange, it's rarely ever used anymore. You don't use them, especially for paying everyday bills. It's really unheard of. It's unheard of. And unless you're addressing the bill to the person over the account at the bank, then you're most likely writing a bill of exchange based on the same old assertion that there's a secret trust fund account where they can take it to the treasury and get it processed through there somehow. Don't got the proper accounting instructions. They basically they send a bill of exchange and they're telling the accountant just send it to them somehow, some way, somehow. They should. Don't even have the proper accounting instructions on it because they don't study accounting. Even if you've been in these spaces for a significant amount of time, it does not mean you've actually been studying the right things. Because a lot of people in these spaces, they are still beginners, even at year 5 in this. They're still beginners. It's because they've been studying the wrong things. I'm not even going to say the wrong things. It's just the stuff that they're studying and trying. It really has no merit. It has nothing to do. It's moot. It's a waste of time. But the effects double and triple when you invested time, energy, and money in the wrong thing. See, that's where the issue people have with me, because they've actually already spent money on this stuff. And dealing with just human nature, nobody likes to leave money on the table. Nobody would like to leave the blackjack table if they already lost $5 grand. Very few people be like, okay, today isn't my day. Because most people, hey, let me borrow 500. Go back into the account trying to get back. This is going to be the hand here. This is going to be the hand. This is going to be the hand. This is going to be the hand. This should be the hand. It's always that. This is it right here. And sometimes you do hit the hand. You do hit the hand. I was in that position before. I was down 1,800. I hit the in-between, the triple in-between, and I had the blackjack, ace, and the king of, I think king of spade. Came back. That's cool. It's like 4,700, 47 and like 5. It was 4,700. How many black chips I got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4 black chips. Those are $1,000 chips. That I had it's like 4750 or some shit. It was bad. But is that every time? No. Rarely ever happens like that. I just lucked up. And really, somebody else sat down at the table to turn the cards around because it was just three of us in the dealer. Somebody came up and it moved, it changed the cards. So I'm getting I'm the third draw. If it was just me, because the one in front of me lost. So if that person ain't sit at the table, I would have got the dudes in front of me's cards. So I caught the cards of more people when he sat down. So what I mean by that is, what it boils down to is, what it's always going to boil down to is in 2025, more people are going to lose their homes. More people are going to lose their vehicles. More people are going to get negative remarks on their credit report. More people is never going to access that elusive Treasury Trust Fund. More people are still going to be scrambling around trying to find a quick remedy. More people are going to be bitter. More people are going to be losing in court. So instead of, nothing's really going to change. Like I said, cars are going to get repossessed. People still going to be hiding their cars from the repo man. People still going to get foreclosed on. People still going to be losing their houses in court. People still going to be getting evicted for their rent. People still going to be getting their license suspended. People still going to get frivolous filings. That big ass refund is still never going to come. That's what I see in 2025. For the majority of people who follow, about 90% of people who follow these people in these spaces, that's going to be for 2025. Want to know why? Want to know why? Because that was the results for this year. And that was the result for 2023. And that was the result for 2022. The same thing for 2021. The same thing for when does it ever change? Now, we went live last night, and black and white from the horse's mouth, we researched, and although I didn't have physical evidence until last night that the United States never ratified the International Bills of Exchange and Promissory Notes Convention, I do remember reading a court case where the judge said to this individual that the defendant never provided evidence that the United States even ratified the UNCTAD Convention. So right then and there, I was like, oh. But then I didn't do more research until yesterday because it wasn't even on my mind, to be honest with you. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't using no international bills of exchange anyway. So when we read it last night, where only 5 countries signed off on that convention, ratifying it, making it applicable. An international bill of exchange is only applicable between 5 countries. Laguna was one of them. Guyana's one of them. I think one of them African countries, that's one of them. I think Mexico is one of them. I forgot the other one. The United States never signed off on it, meaning they never ratified it. They never made that applicable. So, since it was never ratified, that means an international bill of exchange or promissory note has no force in effect in the United States. And want to know why that's true? Because if you go back and listen to my live or watch it from yesterday, there was this guy on Instagram who went down to the, I guess, the courthouse, mad at the sheriffs because they came and evicted him. And he said he tendered a lawful form of payment or acceptable form of payment in an international bill of exchange. Even though it was in the, obviously he got evicted still. It was right there, right on his channel. But you don't even need it to see that or even look at your own look at the Uncharted Convention to see if it was ever ratified, to know that for those of you who have used a international bill of exchange in the past to pay a bill, you know that it never worked. That's the farthest where you need to look. And it is not because the teacher gave the wrong instructions, or it's not the teacher did this, like with MWEDU and it. Remember, he had the bill of exchange, then he got mad for people that was making copies of it and selling it. And then he went on the show, was like, oh, I see people selling the bill of exchange, but guess what? You ain't got the instructions though. But the people that originally brought the bill of exchange, you knew the whole time that there was instructions that go with it, but you didn't give it to them. Y'all remember everybody was selling the bill of exchange with the instructions for $200? That at one point, any point, did anybody ever ask the person selling the bill of exchange with the instructions, can you show me where your accounts were set off? Can you show me where you're living rent free with this, or you ain't got to pay no type of utility bill or phone bill or something with this international bill of exchange with instructions? No, they don't ask the question. They don't ever ask the question. They don't want to know the answer to the question. They don't want to know the real reality. They don't want to know the real answers to these questions, y'all. You want to know why? Because if people really being truthful, then they'll realize that they're about to lose that house. They're about to lose that service. So as long as you're still giving them hope that this document is going to keep their services or keep the lights on and keep the phone bill paid and keep the rent paid, as long as they have hope in that document, that's all they need. But that mindset is supposed to be one that's going to bring major success to a lot of people. That mindset right there. That's supposed to be the mindset we all have. That's supposed to be the mindset. That's supposed to be the standard in these spaces. That's supposed to be normal. Grown ass adults. That's supposed to be how a grown ass adult with the ability to reason that's supposed to be the mindset. Grown now, teenagers, people in their early 20s, young people, I wouldn't even be having this conversation because it's totally understandable at that age. It is totally understandable at that age. But I'm gonna be honest with you. It seemed like, no disrespect, but it seemed like the young people got more sense than the older people in these spaces. The young people look at that shit like, what the fuck is that? That ain't no money. Ain't no real money. What the fuck is that? What is that? I mean, I don't know why the term, if it sounds too good to be true, then most likely it is. I don't know why we act like that is not a very legit and valid term. I don't know why we act like that is not real. I don't know why we act like that's not true. And people paid $1,500 for the international bills of exchange with those articles cited that don't even apply to the United States. It doesn't even have any effect in the United States. So once again, you're paying all this money for processes that are dead on arrival, but I'm the bad guy for speaking, or I'm supposed to just go along with it. Just go along with it. Or how I put it, or the tone. And hold on, we talking about grown adults here, grown ass adults here. That's what we talking about. Teenagers, young men and young women in the early 20s, about 21 through 25. 18, 19. I don't see no 18, 19 year. I mean, I'm talking to them mainly. We talking about grown ass in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, still acting like fucking teenagers with their financial responsibility. Or not even that, just the shit that they believe. No any type of law that allows us to pay a bill with a bill of exchange, they'll never be able to show it to you. They will not, they won't be able to show it. Of course, they're going to take action against you. They're going to try to kick you out the group because they feel in their mind you're trying to discourage or dissuade the rest of their students to pay for it as well. And then, if one person comes back with a bad experience with that, they always silence that person, but still will turn around and sell the same shit. They will erase the comments from that person on their lives. They erase the comments and still the audacity to still say, hey, I got this for sale. The audacity to come and say, hey, I got this shit for sale. Knowing that it does not, like, I swear to God, if you think of lying, I would just sit back and watch. Go back over your old documents that you bought. Because y'all know I ain't your first rodeo. This damn show ain't my first rodeo. I've been doing this shit for too long. I know that most people that come to me, they've already been in other groups, paid money for this, paid money for that, already been embarrassed, already got embarrassed. And my problem with those people in that situation is they're so embarrassed that they just walk away. They just go away and act like it never happened. Instead of being like, yeah, man, this is what happened to me. But yeah, it boils down to it. And I'm going to tell you again that the international bills of exchange and international promissory notes were doomed from the start. If you paid for it, you wasted your money. You threw it away. So you might as well call it a donation, because there is nothing logically or legally or realistically that you should have ever expected for that bill of exchange. Now, the only way international bills of exchange are appropriate is if you're in an import-export transaction amongst the countries that ratified that convention. It's only 5 of them. So if you're doing international trade between those 5 countries, yes, you could use a bill of exchange. But even if you're using an international bill of exchange, it doesn't evade you from payment. All it's basically saying is the seller draws the bill of exchange on the buyer. The buyer takes that bill of exchange to the to his bank and tells the bank that the seller is going to be providing you an invoice. Please pay the seller when they provide you an invoice. It's used in international transactions. It's not used for domestic light bill, water bill, mortgage, auto, rent, electric. And you don't need me to tell you that. Just go do your research on what international bills of exchange are used for. Go to Wikipedia, go to the finance, go to use more than one source. It's not going to be any mention of paying your monthly bills with it. But then again, we're supposed to be dealing with grown adults. None of these teachers that's taken your money under false pretenses, you all have never held them under a microscope. They all let them off the hook, held them under a microscope. Easy, easy money. They say if you have an international bill of exchange that you purchased for someone, because I need more. If you had an international bill of exchange that you purchased for someone, send me an email. Send me a copy of that to the email. I will be meeting with the FBI soon. I will be meeting with them soon. I will be meeting with them soon. And no, I'm not doing all y'all dirty work for free either. Because to be honest with you, y'all supposed to be doing it. There was people who felt like, oh hell no, they ain't gonna take hell no, they ain't gonna take my money without that. There's people who's done that, alerted them, which led to the stop. But y'all don't even take no action with them. Y'all just say, oh well, all right, let me just go to this for now. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like I'm gonna be honest. Like pile let it fly, but really gullible to think that a bill of exchange is just gonna pay all your bills off and it's only because this teacher knew what the rest of the world didn't. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. That shit is so but it looked like it because all the people. Listen, every time they have a class, every time they got a service they offering, it's not to bring information to you. It's none of that. Hey, information is, all right, let me hold a class. I guarantee you, when they hold that class, it's because they got their own bills, them they sales need paid. Want to know why? Sit on their lives, sit on their lives, any valuable information without a price tag attached to it. No matter if it's just an hour, no matter if you're doing it for an hour, no matter what, just a little bit. If you on a channel, if you on a channel and there ain't nothing of value putting out unless you pay for it, that's all you need to know. And don't keep sending me emails about how bad these people are. Come on live and say how bad these people are. Y'all grown ass people. Y'all can speak to. Don't let me know. Come say it live. Make it publicly known. I'm not doing all this for shit. Y'all should have been did this. To be honest with you, if y'all would have, for those who would apply to, if you wasn't so goddamn desperate, you wouldn't even had to even be in that situation. You'd have took care of your financial responsibilities. Probably wouldn't be in that situation from the jump. So accountability goes all across the board. And a lot of ones who really do shit like that, who believe it, it ain't nothing but the sovereign citizens on the moors of the patriots. It ain't nothing but them. They believe everything is theirs anyway. Bottomless pits of the earth that it belongs. And we y'all don't know what's happening. This shit keep going in and out. I don't know why. Uh I don't know why. But yeah, like it just flies in the face of logic. So those of you who don't know, I'm just going to say this. The International Bill of Exchange or International Promissory Note has never been ratified by the United States, meaning those instruments are not recognized in the United States. No company, bank, financial institution, whatever, are under no international obligation to honor those instruments. None.
And international law does not make a country automatically liable under. International law is really predicated on treaties. They have to agree to be bound by these laws. You can't just impose international law on the United States government. It does not work like that. Common law. There's only certain instances when common law applies. Common law does not apply for a traffic violation. Where's the injured party? The state is the injured party. You have the right to travel. Yes, we all have a right to travel. You know that's true. But how you travel, you don't have a right to. Yes, you have a right to travel. You have a right to walk. You have a right to catch a plane, ride on a boat, ride a bike. But if you're operating a motor vehicle, normally you need to have the car registered, licensed, proof of insurance. If you don't want to have all that, you still need to have some type of proper registration in what the uh, governmental transportation secretary or whatever secretary of state or whatever that allows you to get around that. So when they get behind you, it shows in their system like, oh, I will, you can't just not register it somewhere just because you feel it's in your birthright not to. And canceling your contracts does not mean you're still not liable for the debt. You got to remember, nobody is putting a gun to your head and forcing you to freely engage with these people. None of them are. And when you do engage with these people, there are a set of rules to the game. And if you do not know the rules to these games, not the rules to the game that you believe is, the rules to the games they play. Not what we believe. We talk about the games that is actually being played. And if you don't know the rules to the game, then stay off the field. Put the paper down. Turn the keyboard upside down. Put a do not enter sign on your computer or laptop. If you don't know what you're doing, stay away from it. If you don't know what you're doing, your only option is to file bankruptcy or give the property back, cut the service off, or pay your bills on time until you understand. But under no circumstances are you ever to just stop paying your bill. But they all teach you to stop paying your bills. You know that. You notice that, right? It's always some form of you don't have to pay your bill anymore. I say no. You should pay your bills until you got all the information. And even when people get services from me, I tell them when they ask how long does it take, I say I don't know. It all depends. But make sure your bills are paid in the meantime. I'm telling you, they're not going to want to hear anything you have to say after you go into default. And it always looks bad, whether it's your intent or not. It always looks bad when people bring claims after in default because the courts generally construe it that you're just trying to use this to get out of debt. I also tell people this: if you are not really trying to use this to get out of debt, then if it heads to court, why don't you deposit the amount of the rent, the amount of money that it would take to get your account back in the green with the courts when you respond to their motion or when you file your own suit? Why don't you deposit the money in the courts so the courts would say, hey, this ain't about me trying to get out my debt. I deposited the money with it. Now the judge is going to hear your claim like, oh, okay. So okay, what's going on? That's what they're gonna do. But if you didn't make any deposit, you really don't have a claim because on the paperwork you owe. They're going to enforce the contract with you in the capacity of the trustee. It's not about the money. I keep saying it. It's about the performance. You got to understand the difference between the two. It's a very narrow view of this system that everybody just seems to go in. You got to understand securities, not the securities. Nothing dealing with a birth certificate, social security. Nothing dealing with the bill, or that's a coupon, or that's a bill of exchange, or that's none of that shit. Not the shit that you found that they traded on the stock market and none of that. Throw that out the window. That has no bearing on your situation. That's another wrong rabbit hole. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. I'm just trying to tell y'all some good shit, man. 2025 is fastly approaching. At some point, you still got to do your own study and research because I'm taking a break in 2025. Got some more investments. We're expanding. Taking a break. I'm going to be more focused on income producer assets, not what you should have known at the beginning of the transaction. Not because we've already talked about it all. I'm there it all. We've already talked about it. Now 2025 comes. Let's start to maximize our assets and profits. That's the goal for 2025. It ain't just to keep talking about the shit. I got more than enough videos to get people in these states back on the right track. Because all this shit really is just debtor talk. I'm trying to have these creditor conversations, investor like conversations, not just always trying to come from up behind the eight ball. Because that's all this is trying to get from behind the eight ball. How about we start off from in front of the eight ball? So we assist in accounting, securities, trust law. I'm sorry, trust law, tax law, accounting, securitization, equity, proceeds, tax returns, claims, multiple different claims, um, documents preparation, civil litigation. If you sue them or have to be sued, responding to court filings. We assist you whatever stage that you're at. Doesn't matter. We help in recoupment of proceeds. That's what we mainly like to do. And most important of all, teaching people awareness for what not to do in the future. Because really, this information is really for the future, not for you to always go back and try to correct every single mistake that you made. Some of you are going to have to take some L's. I've taken them. Nobody wants to take an L. Nobody wants to chalk it off as a loss. Like, all right, well, at least I know what to do in the future. That's the beauty of it when you take an L, the lesson that was learned. But everybody wants to come back out of the skate. Everybody it's like they all want to go all the way back to 2012 and do everything. I said, there's no mistakes, everything just perfect. Interested, want to know more? ThomasLegacy603 at gmail.com. Hey, you ain't gotta believe me. Just watch those other people that you've been watching. Watch their tone. Watch how they talk. Watch how everything, majority of everything that they're gonna say is not gonna be found in law, fact, congressional records, or anything. It's just all make believe, made up processes that have not been effective. That's all it is. That's all it is. And it's predicated on telling you what you want to hear. What I'm saying, 98% of people in these spaces don't want to hear. Oh no, this is the shit that they don't want to hear. Because I'm not guaranteeing everything's going to be okay. I'm not saying, oh, you behind on your rent. Oh, they're not going to take your house because they was never supposed to do this anyway. We'll stop that in its tracks. Oh, nah, I got this instrument here. All you got to do is file it. And it's going, yeah, your account's going to zero out every month. Yeah. See, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear me provide remedy for a wound that revolves surgery and staples. And they want me to put a band-aid on top of it. That's what they want. A band-aid. Quick fix. And I'm sorry I don't offer quick fixes because I know the system. The system is not, there's nothing that you're going to send into any company that's going to get you immediate release. Nothing. Nothing. Don't matter what the situation is. Do you not know these people are designed to fight this stuff? You think just because they know you know what's going on that they're gonna be like, okay, you got this. No. And this is what happens when you have like when they don't study like we do over here because they load up for that 1%, and as soon as they don't get the initial response, just sit back and watch how it goes. It goes the same way every time, y'all. It goes the same way. So yeah, I got to pick and choose. I know a lot of people who's misled and gave up money under false pretenses. They know what I'm talking about. They know exactly what I'm talking about. They know I'm not lying. They know exactly what I'm talking about. So stay informed. Got any more questions, comments, inquiries? Please send me an email. ThomasLegacy603 at gmail.com. Try to get through this rest of the Saturday. And every day's work. Even when I'm not working, I'm working. Study, research, study the things that I've talked about that you never studied before in your life. Start there. All the stuff I talk about, study there. Study everything. Don't study anything that you are accustomed already studying for these other spaces. Don't study anything about the birth certificate, fidelity account, security, HJR 192, March 9th. How about everything that you studied in these old ones? How about you just take 1 week and study everything but that? And stop trying to implement new information with the old information that you paid for to try to make that old information stronger with the new information. Please remember, bills bills work in these spaces the same way they work in real life. There is no secret document, no secret account that you can write instruments on to pay your bills. You want your bills paid? What you do is when they send you that statement, right? Or they send it to you electronically by the due date. What you do is you take out your credit card or debit card, right? And then they're gonna ask you for a series of numbers. Those series of numbers are going to be on the face of the car. There's usually like 16 numbers, right? And then they're going to ask you for the date and the year of the car was issued, or the expiration date, the date the card expires. So you're going to be able to find that on the front of the card too, as well. And then the CCV or the CVV number, that's those three numbers that's usually on the back of the car. I know American Express credit cards, they usually have them on the front, but majority is on those three numbers on the back of the card. You're going to input that in the CVV, right? And then you're going to click pay, right? And then some of you might see a little circle or whatever notification when it loads up. And then bam, as soon as but before you do all that, make sure the money to pay is already in the account. You got to make sure of that first. That's one of the big moments. And then once you did that, you click the pay, and it gets the circle, circle, circle. Then it says payment received or congratulations, man, whatever they do to evidence the bill's been paid. That's how you pay your bills. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I think there's some people been watching that got hit by the sovereign citizen bug where they forgot how to pay a bill regularly. They think every bill pay. No, oh shit. I signed for it for you. Okay. Every bill pay, no matter how big, no matter whatever situation, no matter how big or small, after you get hit with the sovereign citizen bug, they always, it always is uh, uh, is always an attempt to it's always an attempt to pay some type of balance some other way. So with that being said, yeah, look at that something. Hold on. Right. So this ain't nothing. All right. So yeah, y'all, that's how you pay your bills. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Any questions? Any questions? Have to scan some documents. Do you want me to scan? Documents to them. I mailed it out already, so that's probably letters. Probably they probably sent it out before. So I won't do anything. I'll just wait until huh. Yeah, I'll just wait till we get the I'll wait till they get the schedules. Told me to upload it, but yeah. Because I just sent it off, what, 2 days ago? So I'll just wait till they get it. So any questions? Huh? Questions, y'all? Questions, put them in the super chat. If you want the question answered, put it in the super chat. Yeah. Question answered, put it in the super chat. That's not the case. Catch y'all later.